As I said before, who's fired up about winning? Who's ready to take it to the Democrats? So tonight, we celebrate all our hard-fought victories in 2024. And before I talk more about that, I'd like to first thank our presenting sponsors, Tanweer Ahmed and Daniel Wong. Thank you so much for all you do and all your support. And let's hear it for our fantastic auctioneer, Congressman Troy Nehls. Way to go, buddy. I want to sincerely thank all our sponsors as well. It's because of you that we already have a head start on the Democrats. We took it to them the last 2 election cycles, and you'll hear more about that. But the jump start that you gave us through this Lincoln Reagan Dinner is absolutely incredible. And thank you to all of our elected officials who proudly represent this great county. And most of all, I want to thank the people gathered in this room. The people who worked countless hours to do something no one thought we could do. When the Beto wave hit in 2018, we ended up winning only 3% of the contested countywide races. 3%. In 2020, that number actually went down to 0. 0% wins in 2020. I was told when I became chairman that Fort Bend County was not purple, but it was blue. I was told that Republicans could not win, that it was impossible. Well, those were the wrong words to say to me. You guys hired me to win, and that's what we set out to do. And I'm sure all of those words didn't sit well with you either. And that is why we are celebrating tonight. We were told we couldn't win, and now we are all part of the 77 Club. Now, what does that mean? Check it out.
You've seen him, you know how strong he is. You can't win!
You can't win.
You can't win.
You can't win.
Can't win.
You can't win.
Can't win. You know that, don't you?
You can't win, but there are alternatives to fighting.
Because I'm a fighter.
We didn't listen. We used those words to light a new fire. A team came together, not just to fight, not just to hope, not just to try, but to win. We set out to prove that the most diverse county in Texas, maybe in the nation, can vote Republican. That conservative values aren't bound by race, religion, or background. They are shared by people from every walk of life. We reorganized, we recruited, we knocked on doors, we built a machine focused on winning. By 2022, we were back. 0% became 48%. Blue turned purple. Then came 2024. We refined our strategy. We stayed focused on one thing: winning races and restoring conservative leadership in Fort Bend. When the polls closed, we didn't just compete, we won. 77% of the races, from blue to purple to red, in just 2 cycles. You made it happen. You turned the #1 battleground county in America into a Republican county. And that's why you're now part of something bigger than a campaign. You're part of the 77 Club. We proved the critics wrong, and now we're just getting started.
So, I mean, it's incredible what all of you have done, and what a journey. Again, 0 to 48% to 77, and the thanks goes to each and every member of this amazing team. Together we learned how to win again, and believe me, that's no easy feat. Whether it's in business or politics or sports, winning is hard. Tonight, we have with us Astros great Terry Poole. He knows something about winning and losing. We have my friend Stephen Brannon, who held the pole vault record at Harvard for 17 years. He knows something about winning and losing as well, and so do all of you. The time, energy, effort, resources, and skills required to win in Fort Bend County are elements that should never be taken for granted. Can we win? Of course. We showed that beyond a doubt that we can. Will we win in the future? That's the key question, and the answer lies with all of us. But for tonight, let's think about victories and let's enjoy them. But I have to warn you, if you keep on winning, you might really start to like it. You might crave competition, and then boom, rules and regulations start coming down and people try to crush your dreams. For example, hanging on the wall in the Eberle game room is a completely ridiculous sign that lays out the so-called house rules for competition. There's no cheating, no whining, or crying aloud. Now, I'm not sure who the sign was designed for, but I think it was for my kids. But I personally find it to be offensive. And to add to that, growing up when I'd play games with my friends or my sisters, one of whom is here tonight, almost always the first thing that would come out of their mouth is, okay, so everyone knows we're just playing for fun. And I'd look up and they say, yes, you, we don't want to see a meltdown. So first of all, I have no recollection of said meltdowns. And secondly, to me, there was never a problem because I knew we were really all on the same page. We're playing for fun. Winning is fun. Therefore, we're playing to win. It's as simple as that. But seriously, friends, because of all of you and that desire to win, we have been noticed around the state. We stood as a U.S. News top battleground county, and we won. We have people here who were once candidates. I look into the cool judges table and other candidates, and now they're elected officials. And you can talk about charts and graphs and data and ground game and messaging, but there is one key ingredient that trumps all of that when it comes to winning, and that is belief. You have to think it, then believe it, and then you can do it. The power of belief was driven home to me when I was in high school. I started tennis late, so I was in high school, I was trying hard to get better, and I'd have these epic matches with the local guys in the neighborhood, in the area. Then I'd play school tournaments, and I'd play these guys that are ranked in the state, and I thought, well, I want to be ranked. So it turns out back then, in order to have a ranking, you had to be in a completely different division. You had to be what was known as the championship division. So I played in a qualifier, and I won my first 3 matches. All I needed was one more match to win, just one, and I'd qualify for the championship division. So I played a tough match, but I lost, and I was crushed. But the thing is, and I didn't realize this at the time, it was double elimination. So I was still in it, I still had a chance, but instead of winning 1 match to qualify, I had to win 4. And I got through the first 3 matches again. And I was down to that last match, 1 away from the goal, and this time I did it. I won that match, I got to the championship division, and I could go for a state ranking. But here's the thing, that's not even the cool part of the story. The part that literally transformed me occurred shortly afterward. I was playing tournaments and I was competing and I was winning against championship players. And within weeks after qualifying, the guys in my area, the ones that we used to play those epic matches, I wiped them out. It wasn't even close. So the question is, what happened? Did I suddenly get better in just a few weeks? Did my skills suddenly improve? No, my belief did. I believed that I was a better player, and I became a better player. The skills followed the belief, not the other way around. In order to be successful, you have to believe that success is possible. No one is going to work hard for something they believe is unattainable. You have to believe it, you have to want it, and you have to feel it in your bones. The work and effort and the energy will come from that belief, and that is what we saw in this election cycle. We had a team represented by all of you who wanted a better country, who wanted a secure border, a growing economy, an end to crazy woke ideology, and we had a belief we could win. And from that belief, from that spark, we set out to do something incredible, and we won. 0% to 48% to 77%. That's what we did. But as we move forward, we must remember that winning isn't easy. In fact, it's one of the hardest things you can ever attempt to do. It's easy to give up. It's easy to not even try. If you don't try, you risk nothing. Nothing is on the line. But on the other hand, you'll never win. In order to win, you have to risk losing. You have to bet it all, you have to let it ride, and you often are doing it under the microscope of others. What if I fail? What will my friends think? What will my family think? When I first got into professional racing, I won my very first pro race I entered in my division. My coach said, hey, you should go to Montreal and race in the next one. So we did, and I won both of those. So then we decided we're gonna do the Houston Grand Prix. It's right here in town. So I'm thinking, wow, I can race in front of my family, I can race in front of my friends, and I'm sure I'll win, because after all, I hadn't lost yet. But what I didn't know was all the things about racing that I didn't know. And I was actually driving by luck. So as it turned out, at my third pro event in Houston, in front of everyone, I had the biggest crash of my career. It's the only crash that actually hurt, and it was bad. By the time the car stopped, I had slammed into the left concrete wall, destroying the whole left side of the car, bouncing me to the right side concrete, which destroyed the right side of the car. So my beautiful race car that looked like this ended up looking like this. It's kind of how we felt in Fort Bend after 2018 and 2020. I was hurt, I was embarrassed, and I was devastated. But if you have belief, you just keep on going. You just keep on working. People said I was stupid. People said I should quit. And here in Fort Bend, they said we couldn't win. But like all of you, I didn't listen. I kept on fighting and channeled that belief into 3 national championships. And we did what many thought was impossible. It's the power of belief that can take us where we want to go. Actually, the best part of that whole racing experience is that I was able to check off a bucket list item. At the end of the last season at our awards banquet, I was presented with what I call a very large check. I think everyone should receive one at some point in time, and yes, I did carry that with me through the airport. So friends, what you did this election cycle was incredible, and you did it because no was unacceptable. Can't was thrown out the window, and defeat was not an option. Together we proved the critics wrong. Together we helped the most diverse county in Texas go Republican. When a team works together, there is nothing it can't do. So let's continue to push forward. Let's continue fighting for President Trump and this amazing America First agenda. Let's lift each other up, let's tear down barriers, and let's build that shining city on a hill. If you truly believe, then the best is yet to come. I love all of you. God bless Fort Bend County. God bless our governor and the great state of Texas. God bless President Trump and the United States of America. Let's go beat some Democrats. All right, friends, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button above. Once you do, tell your friends, share it, spread the word about the 13-minute news hour so we can keep growing. And for more great content, check out these videos right here, and I'll see you next time.